A lot of different systems that go into supporting that much power. On the outside, you have this new hood. Now it has functional heat extractors, and it's been off for a while and it's still pumping out heat. Down at the headlight level, the inboard driver's side headlight is removed, and in its place is an air intake that goes straight to the engine's airbox. Down a little lower, there are no fog lights. Instead, it's just open grill space to get as much air as possible into the coolers and heat exchangers behind that grill. The brakes are the largest that Chrysler has put on any of its vehicles at 15.4 inches with 6-piston calipers. That's even larger than the Dodge Viper. Now, over to the transmission choices, you have an 8-speed automatic transmission and a 6-speed manual transmission. The 6-speed manual is taken directly out of the Viper, and the 8-speed automatic is beefed up, and it's the most stout 8-speed that Chrysler makes. Out back, you have beefed up rear end and axle components, and you have this exhaust, this wonderful, wonderful exhaust. It's 2 3/4-inch dual pipes with an active exhaust system, and let me tell you, it is an experience unlike anything else out there. If the makers of Godzilla are looking for something new to sample for a monster sound, they got to get a hold of one of these. The Hellcat is as raucous, fast, and wild as you'd expect, but it's also extremely controllable, and it can be very, very mild when you have all the modes dialed down a little bit. Maybe it's the long wheelbase or the 4,400-pound curb weight, but it never feels white-knuckled or like you're not in control. And then when you do turn all of those modes down to eco and street settings, you can drive this thing like a V6. You can drive it all day long in the city, hit every pothole, and be in complete comfort. But then you get out on the highway and you stretch its legs and just unleash the 707 horsepower, which is a very wild experience. The Hellcat's 8.4-inch touchscreen houses the command center for numerous power, transmission, and suspension settings. The Hellcat has 3 pre-programmed driving modes: default, sport, and track. But beyond that, you can customize each individual setting of the transmission, suspension, and power output. In the custom setup, you can choose between 700 horsepower, 500 horsepower, or transmission in track, sport, and street modes. There's also an eco mode that numbs down all of the settings and makes this just powerhouse as drivable as a V6 in heavy, heavy traffic. Now there's more information in the center dashboard. The digital display between the tachometer and speedometer houses a lot of interesting information that people who are going to be driving on the track are going to want to see. Individual items like intake air temperature, intercooler temperature, temperature of the transmission, oil temperature. There's just a huge amount of what goes into making that monster of an engine work with the rest of the Challenger. So let's take a look at what goes into the Hellcat, and we couldn't make a Challenger Hellcat video without taking it to the track. The engine itself is 91% new compared to the 6.4 liter on which it's based, and there are a lot of different systems that go into supporting that much power. On the outside, you have this new hood. Now it has functional heat extractors, and it's been off for a while and it's still pumping out heat. Down at the headlight level, the inboard driver's side headlight is removed, and in its place is an air intake that goes